the man who gave his lottery winnings to strangers. In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and winding rivers, lived a man named Walter Jenkins. Walter was someone you might pass by in the grocery store without a second glance. His life was modest: a rented apartment above a bakery, a second-hand car that rattled on cold mornings, and a job at the local hardware store. He had never known great fortune, but he possessed a gentle heart and an unshakable optimism. One chilly afternoon, Walter stopped at a corner store on his way home. Feeling lucky, he bought a lottery ticket, something he'd done only a handful of times in his life. The next morning, as he sipped his black coffee and listened to the radio, the winning numbers echoed through the kitchen. Walter's heart skipped a beat. He checked, then rechecked his ticket. Against all odds, he had won. The prize was life-changing: $5 million. The news spread quickly. Friends called with congratulations, and distant relatives suddenly remembered his number. Walter, however, didn't rush to claim his prize. Instead, he spent several days walking the town, sitting on park benches, and watching people go about their lives. He saw the single mother at the bus stop, her hands trembling in the cold. He noticed the elderly couple counting coins for their groceries. He passed by the homeless man who collected cans near the riverbank. Walter realized that while his fortune had changed, the world around him had not. When Walter finally collected his winnings, he did something extraordinary. He sat down and wrote out dozens of letters, each one addressed to a stranger in his town. Some were people he'd exchanged only a smile with, others he'd never formally met. In each letter, he enclosed a check and a simple message: "May this help you find a little happiness, as you have brought kindness to my life in ways you may not realize." It started with the single mother, who opened her mailbox to find a gift that paid her overdue rent and bought warm coats for her children. The elderly couple, who had lived frugally for decades, found that their groceries were paid for the rest of the year. The homeless man by the riverbank received enough to secure a safe place to sleep and the chance to start anew. Walter continued, quietly distributing his winnings until nearly every cent was gone. The town was transformed. For weeks, people spoke of the lottery angel, as they called him, though few knew his identity. But the change was more profound than money could buy. Inspired by Walter's generosity, neighbors began to help one another in small ways. Meals were shared, rides were offered, smiles became more common, and loneliness faded as the community drew closer together. When finally someone asked Walter why he had chosen to give away his fortune, he replied, "Money can buy comfort, but kindness creates hope." I wanted to see what hope could do. His words echoed through the hearts of those who had received his gifts and those who had simply witnessed the ripple effect of his selfless act. Walter's story reminds us that true wealth is not measured by what we accumulate, but by the lives we touch. The most meaningful legacy is not stored in bank accounts, but in the warmth of a shared smile, the relief in a tear wiped away, and the strength we give to others when they need it most. In giving away his lottery winnings, Walter Jenkins gave his town something far more valuable: the inspiration to believe in the goodness of people and the power of a single act of kindness to change the world.